The last complex example is actually a game of mine which I played recently this year and which was full of mistakes and wrong decisions, and that's why I thought it would really wrap up the whole DVD. So here, the following position, I was black against a player from Slovenia. Her name was Rosman, and I played the move before, and actually this was already the moment when I should have understood that something is wrong in my mind, because, okay, after before, if you are a strong player, then you would look what decisions my opponent or your opponent can take here, and you would actually not only think about knight e4 and knight e5, you would also at least have a short look at bishop takes h7, and I have to confess I didn't even think about that move. However, while my opponent was thinking about what to do, I had time to calculate it, and I was quite relieved that I understood that I'm surviving, even so I was really worried. So king takes h7 has to be played, queen h5 check, king g8 and rook f3. This is more or less logical, and the funny part is here the computer even suggests to take on c3, and still the computer would be able to defend, which is a little bit funny. But the easiest move here, and this one I saw while my opponent was thinking, is to play f5, and then I have like some square for the king to f7, e5 is hanging. Once you take e5, bishop f6 is working, and here actually there is not enough compensation, fortunately. Apart from bishop h7, there are only two moves left, knight e4 and knight e5. Knight e4 actually is easy to work out because now you cannot defend the e5 pawn, so I can simply take. And after queen g3, f5, there's nothing to worry because, okay, we attack this guy, and bishop d6, bishop f6 would give stability towards e5. And for this reason, after like, let's say 15 minutes, my opponent took the right decision and played knight d5. Now I have to capture on d5, and after e6, of course, here, once again, it's my duty to take the right decision. And this was a moment when I did a crucial mistake, not in regards of deciding wrongly, in regards of some basic rules when we speak about decisions. When you have a very complicated dynamic tactical position, or however you call it, you should force yourself not to only consider one move, no matter how logical this move looks to you, but at least make a list of 3 candidate moves. And I didn't do that, because after e6, knight and queen is hanging, I only basically checked knight e5 and briefly queen a7, and I didn't even search for any other move. And this, of course, is wrong in terms of the right technique when it is about taking the right decision. I mean, queen a7 check, I actually dismissed quite quickly because I saw bishop e3. Now d4 is forced, and after e takes f7, king h8, I understood that something is wrong about h7. There are motives like bishop takes h7, which may be premature towards this moment because of maybe knight e5. But I saw queen h5 and I understood this is not going to end well, because after knight f6 I can take, and I'm not sure how to defend h7. So from this regard, actually queen a7 I briefly checked, but I understood even by intuition this is not working. So I only considered knight e5, and I moved it rather quickly, and I dismissed any other option. And here, from the logical point of view, what is the problem? The problem is d7 is hanging and the queen is hanging. So it would be natural, apart from queen a7, to check out moves like queen b7 or queen d8. The advantage of queen b7 is simply that we protect c6. After queen d8, we don't protect c6, and we give options like queen takes d5 and e takes f5. And I can tell you both options lead to a better position for white. But queen b7 is very interesting because after the capture, we can simply recapture with the queen. Now we protect d5. We have the plan of bishop b7 perhaps. The knight on b3 is not doing much, and h7 is a little bit loose, but apart from queen h5, which can be answered by g6, there's nothing yet to worry about. And the fun fact is that this position is quite equal and not so hard to play. If I have considered queen b7 and calculated a bit and saw that here there's nothing to worry, for sure I would have chosen this way because I had little time. And of course, after knight e5, I knew that there is e takes f7 and queen takes d5, and I knew that I would still be full of troubles, and with little time on the clock it's very hard to defend. And yes, my mistake was not that I have taken the wrong decision. My mistake was that I didn't take like the rule which I give to myself, at least to make a collection of candidate moves, and I didn't do that. So knight e5 I played, she took on f7, now I have to take, otherwise after king h8 again, there is something wrong about h7. I think queen h5 could just finish the story. That's why queen takes, rook takes f7 is forced, and now queen takes d5. And here actually I knew that I had only 3 moves to consider, because it was clear by logical means the queen on d5 is very strong because of all these pins. My queen is also indirectly in a pin because of the bishop on f4. So it's clear that we should get rid of all these problems. So we have to attack the queen, and this we can do by queen d6, queen d7 and queen d8. Queen d6 I could easily rule out because we are still in the kind of opposition, and this would mean that bishop c4 is possible as we cannot capture. The pressure on f7 increases, and I knew I am not surviving that. Besides, taking here is not solving the problem, it's increasing it because now everything is hanging. So that's why I should have decided between queen d7 and queen d8. I have to be honest to you, queen d8 I didn't really consider, maybe briefly but not really, because I thought somehow or I was in this kind of dream to keep my peace here. Like for example, if queen takes d8, white would get the piece back, even so this is not objectively speaking the strongest move in this position, and here I should have actually be happy if this would have happened. But still I was in a greedy mood, and I thought like that after queen d7 he can't even, or she can't even take this option, because if she takes here, I thought that knight takes d7 is well quite sufficient. And after bishop c4, with the idea of creating some strong pins, I saw the move king f8, and I was quite happy, as if you take, you don't have any good checks, because I have knight f6 or bishop f6 and there's nothing, and I will remain with the piece up. Okay, this was also the reason why I didn't even consider queen d8, because I was dreaming about my piece. Yet queen d8 and queen d7 is both answered with the right move. After queen d8, also here bishop e4 is very strong, but the difference is now that I can play bishop b7, and after the capture, which was forced to take back the piece, now I capture here, and queen takes d8 is the strongest move to exchange. Queen takes b7 doesn't work because of bishop c5. So queen takes d8 is the best option, otherwise I have too much counterplay with all my bishops. So capture, now the rook can take on d8, and that's the difference between queen on d7 and queen on d8. Here the rook can take, with the queen on d7 the knight has to take, and this is a lot more passive. For example, taking on f7, let's say king takes f7, bishop takes b7. White is better, but black has very good chances because the knight can aim to c4, the bishop to f6, and we have a lot of counterplay, and opposite colored bishops gives a good indication that we may hold. Queen d7, however, the difference is now if you play after bishop e4, also bishop b7, which I didn't even see, to be honest. Then after the capture, the queen takes on d7. Now there is not rook takes d7 or rook takes d8. We have to take, let's say, on f1 and now on d7, and this position is a lot worse because now I don't have a strong knight on e5. I don't have the idea like knight c4. I don't have the rook on d8, and I cannot easily bring my bishop to f6. So you see, this is a huge difference. Anyway, I didn't play at least bishop b7, which was the right decision. Here, I mean, I saw only rook a7 and rook b8. I had no time to make the difference. Rook b8 I just dismissed because of this additional pin, and I was right to do so because here knight d4 would decide the game, and this is just huge advantage as everything is hanging. So I played rook a7, which was objectively also like the best move in this position. She took, and played queen takes e5. Here I had like 1 minute on the clock, and I played the most logical move, bishop f6, which was actually another big error. Apparently, like here, I should take on f1, which is logical, exchange the attacking pieces and play queen d6, but also this position, of course, is much better for white. I played bishop f6. Now she played, of course, queen h5, and I moved g6. And here the moment when we actually stop the video and go for the second part in the second video, because in the second video you will be white and you have to take the decision whether to take on g6 or to play something like queen c5. So I will see you about this in my next video clip.